Okay,
I'll just
audio
literally hold
is
it.
on,
Audio's on.
audio's on.
Good evening. I'll call the meeting to order at 5:30 PM. Yeah, please have a roll call.
Samantha,
Present.
Board Member Patrice Antioni,
Present.
Board Member Norma Gonzalez,
Present.
Board Member Laura Rivera, Board Member Dina Flores,
Well, I am about to sit down, so I guess I'm present.
Superintendent Dr. Julie Harrison.
Here.
Susan Ibarra. Present. Tamiko Lee Nolasco.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We have a quorum. I'd also like to just note that Ms. Rivera did convey prior to this meeting getting confirmed that she would not be able to make it, and so just confirming that. Quorum approval of the agenda of the regular meeting of December 16th, 2025. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Ms. Stanzioni, seconded by Ms. Gonzalez. Is there any discussion? Roll call vote.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, the motion carries. Preliminary items, pledge of allegiance. May I please ask that folks please rise for the pledge of allegiance. Please place your right hand over your heart. Again, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much.
Nope.
Yes.
Informational items, item number 1, public comments related to closed session. Are there any folks who still need to sign up who haven't yet? Anyone in the lobby?
They're all open.
Open session? Okay. We will go to public comments relating to open session and non-agenda matters. The board will now hear public comments related to open session agenda items or matters under the board's subject matter jurisdiction. And in order to conduct the public's business of the district in an organized manner for the privacy and safety of community members and to help district staff respond more directly, the board requires that public comment comply with certain procedures, including when addressing the board, speakers are requested to identify themselves and speak from the podium, may address only items that are within the subject matter jurisdiction of the board, may not reserve or grant any portion of their speaking time to other speakers, are expected to maintain order, decorum, and not disrupt the meeting or use profanity when addressing the board. Complaints should follow the district's complaint procedure before addressing the board, and speakers are to adhere to the applicable time limit of 3 minutes. The total time allotted for public comment on open session agenda items is set at 20 minutes. In the event the estimated time for public comment based on the number of interested speakers will exceed 20 minutes, the presiding officer may equitably decrease individual speakers' time to permit as many voices as possible. Pursuant to state law and board bylaws, the presiding officer may remove a disruptive individual from the board meeting so long as the individual is first warned by the presiding officer that their behavior disrupting the meeting and failure to cease such behavior may result in removal. If the behavior does not promptly cease, the individual may be removed. To ensure speakers can be heard clearly, members of the audience are requested to maintain a quiet environment instead of electronic devices. The board is committed to facilitating the public comment portion of the meeting in an inclusive and organized manner to hear from the community in which the board serves and is accountable to. Thank you very much. We will now begin with Sam Brown. Yannette? Yannette Whip? Okay.
Mike, I could see where I was, huh?
It's up to you if you'd like to stand up.
Okay, no problem. I sing a lot, so it's loudness and harmony. I'm here this evening. My name is Wanda, and I've been kind of out. I've been kind of ill, but I've been thinking about this place. And tonight I really am feeling, our school district is not with us on this family thing. And it's for our children, the children that you teach, the children we are sending out. And it kind of hurts your faith when you're sending your children and depending on things to be protected. And this public land is for the community, the children, the elderly, and people that work hard in retirement like I am. I worked years Probably when all this stuff is being done and all of a sudden it's gonna be sold. It hurts my heart to think about how things are going because I know I have a higher being that's looking down on all of us. And what we do wrong, we gotta give an account of it. When the book of life is over, you don't want your name to be get away from me. I came also to think about, I've been around in this country a long time, but freedom of speech is something we all have. I have no secret because God looks at my heart. He look at yours. He don't have to operate you to look at it. Just think about, death is coming. Everything we didn't do right is a pill of land. We gotta pay for what we did. And I feel that to fight over land that God gave us to enjoy for the children to come up get education. This is so sad. I hate this, it hurts my heart. When I get up at 12 o'clock at night, I think about this. It's not only Bassett Unified School, but being a part of what's out there that's not right. You know it ain't right, I know it ain't right. Why would you deprive these kids? And if they don't have the opportunity to these facilities inside the school on holidays, weekends, because you got the gates locked. Consider, please, in your prayers. I turn it over to God. I'm not gonna stand here and tell you how to happen. Because you know what, He's gonna judge you. I don't have to. Think about what you're doing. If you say you love these kids, do something for them. This is public property that you can do something to help the children, the elderly, somebody at work to help you get to where you are. Let's consider do better in this life. Think about it. It's not right. Bassett is not. I gotta die. You gotta die. We all gonna go. But I tell you what, I'll see you there.
Thank you very much. We'll now hear from Yolanda. Now, whenever you're ready.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, Bassett board members. First, I want to say and give big thanks to everyone who took part in last Saturday's Community Give Back event, especially an organization like No Child Left Behind. It was wonderful to see so many people helping our neighborhood. My name is Yolanda, and I live right here in the community on Millbury Street. We keep coming to these meetings to ask you board members to please put yourself in our shoes. The decision you make to approve the Florence Planner Build project did not consider the real impact it would have on our neighborhood. When we talk about our community, we mean our children, our families, and our homes. We are a real community, not a fake one. We ask that you stop dismissing our concerns and do what is right for the people who live here. Also, trying to quiet us by limiting when and how we can speak is not an answer. It only makes it clear that you are not truly listening to us or supporting our community. Thank you.
Thank you. I believe he just walked in. Sam Brown,
Was for closed session or for?
open session.
Open session? So you call closed session already?
Yes,
You did?
yes.
Well, I did want to speak on the closed session as well. So let me just go ahead. I'll read my open session. Members of the board and the public, I'm speaking today to defend something fundamental. The public's right to free speech. The right to criticize this board and the right to oppose powerful interests without being silenced. The Brown Act exists precisely because democracy does not function when public bodies decide who gets to speak and who does not. It exists to protect speech that is uncomfortable, inconvenient, or critical of those in power. I will not be intimidated for exercising my rights. I will not stop criticizing this board when it violates the law. And I will not back down from opposing the privatization of Florence Flanner for the benefit of Storm Properties, a well-resourced developer seeking to turn public land into private profit. Florence Flanner is not excess land. It is a child development site, a community anchor, and one of the last remaining open spaces in a working class neighborhood, already surrounded by freeways, warehouses, industrial pollution, and after tomorrow, maybe data centers. The community has every right, legally and morally, to oppose its giveaway. Attempts to stifle public comment do not make opposition disappear. They only confirm that the opposition is justified. I am exercising my constitutional rights and my Brown Act rights to criticize this board, to challenge its decisions, and to stand with the community against Storm Properties and any proposal that sacrifices public land without community consent. I will continue to speak, I will continue to organize, and I will continue to defend Florence Flanner as public land that belongs to the people of Bassett, not to developers. To be frank, it is a waste of time to be here arguing the merits of whether it was appropriate or legal for you to suppress my free speech and my right to submit public comment on matters relating to Florence Flanner, but other matters as well. Excess spending, conflict of interest from the past superintendent. I believe we would all like to turn a page and move on, but we can't until we have accountability. And that accountability does not come from you. It comes from us, the voters. It comes from the people that independently have selected for you to be our representatives, our duly elected representatives. And we have recourse, but what happens when you stifle that opportunity from us? That recourse no longer exists because you have demonstrated that it is not in the public interest for us to participate. You have demonstrated that you do not believe in democracy.
We now go to Manuel Maldonado.
Good evening, Manuel Maldonado. Although I don't physically live in the Bassett Unified School District area, but I own 2 properties and 2 of my children live within your district. And as a taxpayer, as a registered voter, it gives me the right, and as a community member, it gives me the right to come and speak my mind. And I feel that it is very inappropriate for a board. I don't care if it's a school board, water board, county board, whatever it may be, to prevent any speakers from speaking their mind. It is the right that the Constitution of the United States gives us. We're not in Venezuela. We're not in Nicaragua. We're in the United States of America. And the things that we have made, the progress that we have made in this country is not because of people like you, it's because of the voters in the United States have made. The decisions we have taken. I know from time to time, we make mistakes like we did by electing the current president that has created a great division in the United States and has damaged races and nationalities by saying that the Latinos are nothing but thieves, rapists, and whatnot. But we have done great contributions to this nation. My brother is a veteran. He went and fought during the wartime, during the Vietnam time. I didn't make it because he was already enlisted, but I was next in line. And by the time I was 18, there was no more Vietnam. But anyways, you have to be mindful that you were elected for one of the reasons is to represent the people, not your own personal interest or not the interest of other people that you think it's appropriate, or not because you're getting kickbacks under the table. There's a God that looks at all of us. And I hope that you have a conscience and do the right thing by deciding over the Florence Flanner properties as well. That property should not be sold because we are seeing that little by little our children population is increasing. What's going to happen when that children population increases? You're going to do like LA? You're going to buy properties to build new schools and then have empty spaces again? I remember when Little Bassett was opened right there at the corner of Temple and Vineland. It was a great school. Some of my friends, some of my best friends, two of them are deputy sheriffs and one of them is a teacher with Mountain View School District. They came out of that school. There were students at that school. Later on, they came to Torch and whatnot. But you know, you have to think about the future of our children, the future of our communities. Also, you must respect each people's right to speak and speak their mind. And if you don't like it, you know, take off. Nobody forced you to be a board member. Thank you.
We have Don Moss.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the board, interim superintendent, Dr. Harrison, senior staff. My name is Don C. Moss, a community advocate from the area. I wish to continue my commentary regarding critical board knowledge necessary to do the job. After that critical step of learning the details of district business via the California School Boards Association training, each board member must learn to differentiate between truth and claims. If a statement made to the board appears to be true, then the board member must next determine if the statement applies to district functions. If the statement does not apply to district functions, it must be set aside with the claims. By approaching this job with such focus, the board will move the district forward towards positive goals. Thank you.
We will go to communications superintendent comments. Dr. Harris.
Sorry, I signed up to speak with closed back. I signed up.
You signed up after the fact, the public comment period had already begun.
Oh, it's dates in the agenda.
No, I've asked the question, because I believe it was another member of the audience who submitted the card on your behalf for public comment for open session. So I just want to confirm for the closed session, you had submitted this when you arrived, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So on the agenda notice, district public comment card must be submitted to the secretary by the time the board begins the first section of public comment as it appears on the agenda. So since we had already began the public comment period, this technically is untimely. I know this has happened before. What do you suggest we could do next time?
Well, I mean, I just think that, you know, the whole purpose of public comment is to submit, you know, our comments to the board. You haven't advanced to the next agenda yet. I mean, it's still an opportunity for me to submit my public comment.
Well, technically, I had just recognized Dr. Harrison, and I know you are aware of the public comment procedures. You yourself do serve on the Personnel Commission for our district. So I say that in the utmost of good faith, that you are aware of the reasonable regulations that the board has implemented for public comment. I do understand completely that the purpose of public comment is to hear back from the community. You are here, you're physically here. This is technically a habit that you have of arriving on time and submitting it late, so it's not necessarily always timely. But I do think personally, it would be more efficient now that we begin the new term of the board for 2026 on a brand new leaf, to truly just let you speak. This would just be a lot more easier than going with a lot of back and forth and try to hinder anything your right to free speech. That's at least me as an individual. Obviously, the board as a whole governs the public comment procedure. I, as an individual board member or president, am not all powerful. It's the board that decides how that goes. So at least for me, I'm gonna take whatever influence I have to simply recognize you, because I think that would just be way more easier. And I would love to connect with you to see how we can make this more accessible. Considering, I think, with all due respect, you are a prime example of how maybe this is a quirk of our procedures. And there's some people who are habitually coming late to our meetings are those who might have other type of concerns. Maybe they can't fill out public comment card for any type of accessibility reason. That would make this more inclusive and accessible. That's at least has been my prerogative since fall 2024, when I think you kind of first brought this to my attention, and I intend to try to make this a way easier procedure. Clearly, it has its faults still. So I'm happy to work with you. Specifically, you, anyone else in the community, if anyone else had some concerns with public comment, but it seems specifically with you, it's been mostly you. Not solely and completely, but that's the fact. Even if it was not someone completely out, I would love to work with them to make sure that we're doing this as accessible and as intentional as possible. So with that being said, I'm going to recognize Sam Brown for public comments related to closed session.
I appreciate the accommodation. And I sent an email prior to this meeting. I sent it yesterday, so hopefully you had a chance to review it. The Ralph M. Brown Act does not require that I fill out a public comment card or that I disclose my name. It's just not simply a requirement of the law. Now, the board is allowed under certain parameters to be able to make the public comment efficient so that they can go ahead and carry out the duties of the board. But that doesn't mean that you can circumvent or deny or suppress or override the protections enshrined with the Brown Act. As a matter of fact, the opening paragraph within the Brown Act is one of the most radical, arguments in favor of free speech. The whole spirit of the law, right, as opposed to the letter of the law, the spirit of the law is to increase transparency and to allow the civilian public to participate in the process and to opine on matters of relevant to the public interest. And in this particular school district, there's a lot of those issues. Government Code Section 54954.3 is clear. Members of the public shall be permitted to address the legislative body on agenda items. There's no exception that allows the board to vote on whether a member of the public may speak. There's no exception for staff convenience, meeting order, or paperwork. When the board conditions speech on those factors, it does raise the possibility that it's violating the law. The district, as we've seen, has compounded that violation by selectively allowing another speaker, which occurred on November 18th, to comment while denying me the same opportunity, by allowing personal attacks against me during closed session public comment while denying me any opportunity to respond, and by approving minutes that omit my name and misrepresent what actually occurred. And not only was that not accurately reflected in the minutes, but retroactively, it looks like the original minutes that had been proposed at the December 9th meeting have now been taken down. And so the failure to properly agendize my December 9th demand for cure and correct letter at today's meeting, right, because it was agendized but didn't include my actual letter, is just another indication that maybe we're interested in allowing the public to speak, but we don't want to hear criticisms, and we don't want to hear the legally entitled right that the public has to participate. It demonstrates a pattern of suppression, concealment, and procedural avoidance. But this is no longer about tone or decorum or disagreement. It's about whether this board understands that continued Brown Act violations do expose a district to enforcement actions, injunctive relief, and attorney's fees. But I do appreciate taking the moment to speak and address that.
We will return Dr. Harrison for superintendent comments. I apologize for the interruption.
No problem. Good evening, everybody, Bassett community. I just want to let everybody know I had the pleasure of attending our holiday events at Sunkist and Edgewood in this past week. And it's really wonderful to see our families coming out and how happy they are with what's happening at our schools. Our students are so joyful, and I would like to, I look
Excuse me,
forward.
sorry. Point of orders can't be entertained by members of the public, only the board, the superintendent is giving her remarks. I'm sorry. Sorry, no. As we've mentioned, the time has passed for that. You've already submitted a card. When was that submitted?
Came in later.
During public comment.
We'll allow our superintendent to finish her remarks. Excuse me, Dr. Harrison.
No problem. I look forward to attending the remaining celebrations as our season continues. We have a few more this week, and across the district, our sites are gearing up for their upcoming breaks. The high schools are in the midst of semester finals, so it's exciting, but it's also very stressful at times. The elementary schools are finishing strong, and I'm really thankful to our staff for their dedication to our students. I'd also like to give a shout out to CBS for highlighting our high school this week. Their spotlight focused on our students' outstanding programs at the high school that support our students in every way. The news team shared that they intentionally seek out small schools. So this time around, we were fortunate because we are one of those small schools that oftentimes are overlooked due to our size. So I want to just thank them for really putting those smaller districts on their radar. And we appreciate their thoughtful approach to the time they spent on our campus. And finally, I just want to thank the board for your steadfast leadership and look forward to continuing our work together into the new year.
Thank you very much. Dr. Harrison, were there any left in the bin that have not yet been?
Yes, there is one
Do you mind
here.
handing it to me? In the same breath, for consistency, now that we are in a new board term, again, I would love to hear further feedback into how this could be changed to be more accessible in the future. I definitely don't want anyone to feel that we're not necessarily listening to them. So I will recognize Jim V. Is that correct? Just one moment until we get the timer back on the screen. Whenever you're ready.
Newbie at this. President, Dr. Superintendent, board members, staff, and community members. Are you out of your ever-loving minds? For God's sake, we just deposed an authoritarian president over in La Puente District for suppressing speech and unjustly restricting constructive criticism. We just got rid of her just within the last year. Don't be snowflakes. Criticism is not personal. We're only calling out your behavior. Don't be like this POS in the White House that's such a snowflake. He had to try and take down, well, he did take down Steve Colbert. That's a good example to our kids. We're preaching all this free speech stuff, and here we go. Jimmy Kimmel's on the line, and who knows how many progressive content creators are under their getting ready to attack them. The only thing we want is just follow the Brown Act, use your common sense. We're not attacking you personally. It's just that we need to make sure the community is represented. Those of us activists who help represent the community, because those poor devils are busy scratching out a living. That's what we're here for. That's the give and take of democracy. Somebody has to remind you why you're here, why you got elected, and just as easily you can be deposed. Norma got elected by almost like a virgin birth, since we're in the season. And we can do that with a little bit more effort, the way we got rid of that monster over there in La Puente. So do your duty, do the right thing, and don't be restricting free speech. And don't send your subordinates to waddle out here and drag us through the mud for no good reason. You know, we're here to represent the community. Thank you.
We'll proceed with board member comments. Ms. Flores?
So, okay, so I had the opportunity to attend the Bassett Community Parade this last Saturday. It was amazing. I want to give a special shout out to Carol and Paul Tula for endless efforts. I know I spent some time on every now and then when she would come up on, you got this, you got this, you got this. But persistence, talk about persistence. That lady's persistent, okay? So shout out to the Tulas and to all those who helped bring that together. I appreciate our principals that came out. Our PTA leaders were there. And I love the vintage car, love my 1954 Chevy. That was really cool. Yes, the highlight of CBS, that was amazing. I was not in attendance, but I did see the reel. This event was about students. It wasn't about, board or anything like that. This was about students and showcasing and highlighting what they did. So I did know about it, but I was like, no, let's give it to the students. So I was cool with that. And our teachers, I love the spectacular coffee. That was amazing. And they're going to Disneyland this Friday because they've raised enough money to go to Disneyland. So I'm very excited for them. Our just as a reminder, volleyball was not mentioned, but volleyball did really good this year. Girls volleyball did really good. So very excited about that. Overall, all the great things that are happening at our high school. I am looking forward to our holiday shows tomorrow night, Thursday? No.
Thursday.
When Thursday
Yeah.
is, yeah,
2 nights.
Thursday, 2 nights.
You're close.
Thursday night is our winter concert for our high school. And if you've heard our high school bands, they are amazing. I saw them again today on the CBS. Plus I attended one of their competitions where they actually took first place over at San Dimas High School. So that was really good. I'm looking forward to the campus shows. I want to say a few things. As a board member, I respect our community and I respect the opportunity to give public comment. I do, but I also respect that there are guidelines that we follow. And while when we follow these guidelines, the guidelines are set forth to create effective meetings, a flow of efficiency in the meeting. So if I have to be governed by, I barely walked in the door and the gavel already hit. Okay, so such as we need to look at timeliness and things like that. And we spent some time, there was a lot of work put into the new guidelines on public comment. So I ask that we continue to follow them. And I ask community, we're not here to suppress your voice. We want to hear you. I've said this time and time again. Every board member here is accessible. Dr. Harrison, if I may, you are available for a community if they would like to set up a meeting with you to get any questions answered. So it is very transparent. The opportunities are there. Please seek those out. And that's all I say. But again, with all due respect to the community, which I do respect the community very much, and I appreciate their input. Let's work together. Let's work together on this. Reach out. And that's the problem sometimes with today's society is we don't come to the table. We just attack each other. So it's just like, and actually it's not even, attack is not even the word really. We just have our own perception without clarifying, hey, I understood this. What does this mean? Type of thing. So I'm going to ask, let's work together, reach out. How can we make it better? That type of thing, okay? And you don't need to wait for public comment for that. Any board member here is accessible. Our contact information, our emails are posted on the website, so utilize that. That said, I want to wish all our community a happy, joyous, and blessed holiday season. Merry Christmas, Feliz Navidad, season's greeting.
Thank you very much. Board Clerk Patrice Stanzioni.
First of all, I'd like to thank the community for coming out. As a child and as a high school government teacher, I've always fought for people's right to speak. So thank you for coming in and sharing all of your thoughts and wishes. I too attended the Bassett Community Parade. Again, shout out to Paul and Carol Tula. And a big one to Sal, my driver. What a great guy. To my niece, Dominic, the great grandson of one of our longtime respected Bassett family members, Mary Sosa. And I truly miss her living on my street. But his great aunt works for our district and has for many, many years, Vicky Carbajal. And she's a treasure for our school and for our early childhood education. I did get to attend the KTLA filming of the children in the morning, and I went because I wanted to see the smiles on their faces. The band was quite stellar. And the reporter said, this is quite extraordinary, a band of over 100 for a school of under 800, which is truly, truly amazing. But our band has never had any challenge. They are awesome everywhere they go. They take first place. They are always placed in the top 3. And this is talking about 40 years, maybe, or 50 years. They've always been stellar. We've always been blessed with the most amazing band leaders. Special shout out, though, to the drum major for their eloquence. It was quite stunning to hear him talk. Again, I could not, sadly, I could not attend many of the school functions as I'm in my classroom with my own wonderful students. I didn't wear the requisite Christmas red this year, but I wore blue in homage to my mother, who was named for the Blessed Mother, and wore nothing but blue and white for the first years of her life until her 8th birthday. And I think Mary's kind of a good example to all women. An early happy birthday to my big brother, Chuck Stanzioni, a Bassett employee, who is also dedicated to the community and the education of our children, which I think is what we're all here for. But also, in your thoughts and your prayers, please remember the tragedies of Brown University, Australia's Bondi Beach, and Kentucky State University. And while Kentucky State University only had 1 death, that was 1 dead too many. And as I mentioned at the last meeting, the holidays are not so joyous for some. So please remember 988 as a call number for anybody in need. It's so close to Christmas, yet it just seems like so far. But in all of your travelings and meetings and parties and celebrations, remember to be kind mostly. Oh, I have to say one thing, Miss Juanetta, I'm so glad that you're feeling well enough to come. I love hearing you. It's like being in church. Right? Always from your heart. And to all the other people, to my neighbors, Merry Christmas to all the staff, to people we can't do without at this school district, the children, the parents, the staff, whether they be classified or certificated, the management team, which I think is leading us down the just an incredible road in the future. I have great hope. I'm not going to make a New Year's resolution because I think it's already come home. It's already come true with who we have in place now and the direction that we're going. I have this firm belief that we are going to lead the children in the right way with our leadership. And I hope everybody has a safe and happy holiday. And good night.
Very much. Board Vice President Norma Gonzalez.
Thank you. I had the pleasure to attend the Edgewood Winter Program, as well as Dr. Harrison. I ran into her there. So I just wanted to give a shout out to Mr. Almgren for putting together another amazing winter program. Thank you to the parents and the students for all of their hard work. It was a packed house. It always is. It's so nice to see everyone just so joyous and proud of their students. And I mean, I leave these events with like a hurting face from smiling so much because I'm so proud of how amazing our educators are and our music program is. So that will lead me into the Bassett Parade. It was a wonderful success, and thank you to the Tulas, to Mrs. Tula, Mr. Tula. Thank you for all of your hard work. I had the fortunate luck of hearing a student say that they were so glad to be a part of what will become a tradition, and I wholeheartely agree. I cannot wait to see what this parade will become. I got to chat with some band parents, and it just was there, you know, it's an amazing little band community that we have. And As a former band member and a band member of the Bassett High School Band also, I'm just so proud to see how far Mr. Gutierrez has brought the students. And then just finally, a big shout out to the adult school for their social media posts announcing the classes. I love that. I love reposting those. So shout out to whomever designs those and make sure that those are going up and reaching the community. And I just want to say, I hope the holidays are amazing for everybody. Thank you to the community. And good night.
Thank you very much. For myself, I was not able to attend the Bassett Community Council's parade last weekend. A bit short notice from when I found out, and I already had some family obligations, but I heard only wonderful things. I was able to see it on at least the high school social media. Saw folks, familiar faces in the cars and the buses, but seeing just how happy everyone seemed, from our students to staff, to recognize literally streets where I grew up, friends, families, I've spent all of the early parts of my 20s basically there on San Angelo and Don Julian, that little curve. So it was really nice. So hopefully next year I'd be able to participate. However, the school district can partner with the community council. I think that would be absolutely amazing. Whether if that's getting students there from other sites, having the publicity out. I think it's really powerful that we have, something that really is Bassett grown. Especially in Avocado Heights, which is the birthplace of Bassett. So I do appreciate that opportunity that at least some of us had. With the winter performances, it's been great. Last week was my old school, Sunkiss Elementary, and that was just always beautiful to just see not only the students and their teachers who put a lot of work, but also just personally, friends, neighbors. That's my neighborhood school. I'm there off siesta. So it is nice to just see literally our neighborhood's kids doing a great job. Was able to catch the CBS highlight for Bass High School last night after work. It was great to see obviously our students, some students I'm very familiar with, those close to my family, to hear from friends, from my in-laws of all the questions, there's a coffee cart, what's going on, all these things. So, it's beautiful to see the highlight, and then just off social media to see teachers, staff, not only at the high school, but at other school sites to kind of share the post and just wow, this is our district. One thing the reporter kept saying, we're a small school district, but how powerful this campus is. So that was really great. I'm happy we were able to confirm that for a couple months now. So thank you to, of course, the site, to all of the teachers there, to alum who were the first two teachers to be presented. Mr. Prieto, Mr. Gutierrez, which is great. Obviously the principal's an alum, not to toot my own horn, but the board president's alum. So, we are a community that sticks together and stays in Bassett. Even if we didn't necessarily graduate, you go to all the schools. Maybe you're a Lancer, we're an equal divide up here on this house. But, we are a community that gives back. So. And the same horn as what I mentioned earlier, a bit more formally, please to the community, those who are here and those aren't, if there's any feedback that you'd like to give on how to make any of our bylaws, any of our rules, any of our whatever more accessible, please. I come from a type of leadership in student government where a lot of these provisions are inherently inaccessible because they're written so complicated. I've learned, unfortunately, in working with legal for now 3 years of, complexities are to kind of tighten things and make sure there are a lot of loopholes, but I'm sure we can still make things a bit more accessible and more inclusive for our community. So please, I'm happy to be a resource. Sometimes it's difficult when, we get a lot of emails throughout the school year, throughout the weeks, throughout the days on so many different topics from, not only public comment aspects of things, but the operation of the school, whether it's child development to the high school, everything, the whole board sees it, and that's a Brown Act violation if we all kind of chime in. So at least individually, if you'd like to connect, I would very much love to be a partner and see how we can do that for anyone who would like to. Other than that, I'm wishing everyone a happy holiday season as we start the 2026 board term. Probably have more to say in January when we have a fuller agenda, but the significance tonight was, of course, to get started on our interim superintendent's contract. That is something that I think the county requires immediately to get the ball officially rolling. So I appreciate the board's willingness to schedule a regular meeting so we could tend to that very important time-sensitive topic of the superintendent's contract and start the next year with someone at the helm of the ship, someone very confident that a lot of our staff, not only the certificated, but the classified and non-represented well, have a good rapport. So wishing us all a great new year. We'll see you next year. Closed session. Item number 1 is conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation, government code 54956.9, subdivision D2 or 3. We will go into closed session at 6:15 p.m. Please have this like that.
All right,
Perfect.
sounds.
7:41. Good evening, everyone. We'll reconvene at a closed session at 7:41 PM. We have report of action taken in closed session. Madam Clerk.
On a motion by Vice President Gonzalez, seconded by Board Member Flores, direction was given to the Board President and the interim superintendent to work with our legal counsel to respond to the cure and correct letter dated 12/9/25 from Samuel Brown, with a vote of 4-0.
Thank you very much. And as a reminder, Ms. Rivera is not here, so that is the to the whole 5. Thank you very much. Item number 1, interim superintendent employment contract for period December 1st, 2025 through June 30th, 2026. I would first like to make a motion to correct on the document. If you could draw your attention to page 4. Under Article 10, complete agreement, first paragraph, the last word is director. So to complete the full clause, it is this agreement is the full and complete agreement for the employment services between the parties hereto. Any further amendment, modification, or variation of the terms of this agreement shall be in writing and shall be effective upon the approval of such amendment, modification, or variation by the board and the director. It should read as the board and the interim superintendent. That will be corrected in print. That's my motion to correct. Is there a second?
Second.
Ms. Stanzioni. And I'll get that to staff as well, to assist. So the motion to correct, that one word from Mr. Cimental, seconded by Ms. Stanzioni. Any discussion on the motion to correct? Roll call vote.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye, thank you very much. Before we proceed on the recommendation, so approval is recommended for the interim superintendent employment contract between the district and the interim superintendent. I would like to state, as required by law, the compensation details. So this may be found under Article 3, compensation of fringe benefits, which state as follows. Beginning on December 1st, 2025, during the terms of the service as interim superintendent, Harrison shall receive a salary in equal monthly installments based on an annual salary of $240,000 based on a 225-day work year. During Harrison's services as interim superintendent, Harrison shall continue to receive all of her current fringe benefits as assistant superintendent, if any. Should Harrison require to be absent from, that's not fine. In addition, the district will pay Harrison a stipend of $500 for the use of her personal vehicle during each month and portion thereof of service as interim superintendent for her work-related travel in the district and within Los Angeles County. This stipend is to serve as a car allowance in lieu of car mileage reimbursement. Harrison shall be responsible for maintaining vehicle insurance and for maintenance costs of her vehicles. That is the only applicable provision that is required to be publicly stated. Yeah, we're good there. Okay, so now that was said. I would like to make a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Ms. Flores. Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Congratulations on our now fully formal official interim superintendent. Item 2, discussion and potential action pursuant to Government Code 54960.1 and or 54960.2 in response to a demand letter from Samuel Brown dated December 9th, 2025. Pursuant to the board's action at a closed session, this matter is attended to, so no further action is required. Consent calendar. All matters listed under the consent calendar are considered by the board to be items that will be enacted by the board in one motion. There will be no discussion of these items prior to the time the board votes on the motion unless members of the board, staff, or public request specific items to be discussed and or removed from the consent calendar. Are there any items under consent that a member would like to be removed?
No.
Is there a motion to approve the consent calendar as
Motion.
scheduled? Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Ms. Flores, seconded by Ms. Gonzalez. Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Next regular board meeting. The next regular board meeting will be held on January 13th, 2026. That's a big number. Adjourn the regular meeting of December 16th, 2025. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Ms. Flores, seconded by Ms. Gonzalez. All those in favor? Or excuse me, roll call vote.
Aye.
Aye.
Or all in favor? Aye. All right, the motion carries. We stand adjourned at 7:46 PM. Good night, Bassett. Happy holidays.